What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are working on Lauren's Lexus removing her Airlift Performance air ride suspension. So how long have you had this setup going now?
For 2 years, but I plan on selling the car soon, so we gotta take them off.
Alright, so if any of you guys have a 2017 Lexus IS, we'll have a really nice high quality airlift suspension for sale. Let's go ahead and show you real quick how it works. It is pretty sweet. Alright, so a quick demonstration on how this works. This is the current ride height that we set the car, but she can press one button with the controller and actually slam it to the ground. That looks pretty crazy. So you can see how tucked everything is. I mean, the car is literally on the ground now. I mean, it's definitely been fun to play with, having a car sitting on bags like this. I mean, look at how crazy tucked that is. But it's got a air tank and air compressor all in the back, and with the control that she has on the dashboard there, she can press another button and it will lift the entire car back up into the normal position pretty quickly. So there we go, that's pretty much almost back up, and then the air compressor turns on and fills everything up. So pretty cool the way it works. So you can see the module over there with a different pressure in each bag. You can manually adjust it or even do different presets. Then the automatic air compressor is going to turn back on. So with the wheels off the car, off camera, we went ahead and got the passenger side all done just so I could get my bearings with it. I've never really worked on this Lexus before, and obviously I wasn't the person who installed the air ride, so this is the first for me, but it's pretty straightforward. We ran into a few little hiccups that we sorted out. So now all we gotta do is start disassembling this front strut. We have the upper control arm pin right there that we're gonna need to take out and then loosen that bolt. We're not gonna loosen that all the way just yet. And then here's a quick look at the actual airbags. You can see it up there. And I do like how the air fitting is on the lower side. That way we can take it out without depressurizing the whole system, because of course we still need the back to be inflated. So on top of that, we then have a bolt right underneath the strut, which is right here, that connects it to the other part right there. So this beam right here goes all the way down into the lower control arm right here, which the bolt is over on this right side. So with that bolt and then two 10mm bolts for the brake lines, we can go ahead and start disassembling this. So with the two brake line bolts out, the tie rod end is out, and then the lower portion of the strut assembly bolt is off. And we just have this upper control arm bolt loose. That way we can pop that off without it flying off. So just loosen that a couple millimeters. So next up, what we want to do, you can see the controller right here. We want to actually depressurize that front left strut. You can see how the front right one is completely out. So she's going to lower that all the way to 0 PSI, just so we don't have any pressure in this one. So you can hear it already. And then it exhales, and then now it's a little bit more squishy. And now that all the pressure is out, now we're going to be able to loosen the bolts up top, and then we can actually pull the strut assembly completely out. So the strut tower now out, I'm going to continue loosening this bolt all the way, and we'll take this out in two separate pieces. I can kind of disassemble this a little bit. So here's the lower piece, and now the airbag I'm going to bring out on the back side, that way I can actually get it through without disconnecting anything. And since we already taken out all the pressure and everything, this is now completely out. So the airbag out, everything is still attached as far as the air lines, but here's a good look at them. They are adjustable, which is really cool. So this is a pretty nice high quality kit, and you can even adjust the damping up top. So very nice kit, and the car's rode really nice with the system in it. Alright, so it's now time to reinstall the factory strut. This piece right here, the bracket, is going to go in the forward spot. That way we can connect it to the brake line. So if we just stick this back up in here, another note, I cannot for the life of me get this bolt the rest of the way out. It's kind of stuck. So hopefully the lower and upper control arm can bend enough to actually come out. So now with the strut up there, I'm going to go now on the hood side and at least put one bolt in here just to hold the top of the strut in place. So then next up, it's kind of hard. I don't really like how Lexus and Toyota designed this strut system, but we gotta get this tie rod end out of the way, put this back in, And now we need to basically fit these together. You can see how we're almost an inch off. We have to push the strut up, and then we're gonna have to push these control arms down. So we're gonna get a crowbar out to push this all the way down, and hopefully this allows enough flex without that bolt being gone. All right, slowly let it up. Yep, keep going up, 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 up. Perfect. So we had to use that really big crowbar to get some more leverage to push the whole control arm assembly down. And then I was able to line up the lower portion and this strut. And now it's pretty much the reassembly time. So Lauren, what do we got going on next?
So now we gotta put this plate back on here and then put these bolts back on.
So we'll do that, get those all tight, and then just reinstall all these bolts. All right, so now we'll get this bolt underneath here, get that reinstalled. Alright guys, so we got the front end all done. We were able to tighten that bolt too, but if you come here and take a look at this, we're gonna move the car forward and back. We have the airbag sitting inside so we can actually move it. So my controller here, we have 0 PSI up front and 120 in the back. I can easily, and you can watch this airbag and get that up. So kind of funny to actually control the airbags like this. And we could totally drive this like a squatted car now. You wanna do that?
No.
No?
No,
you don't want to be a squatted car?
No.
So we got to continue working?
Yes.
Alright guys, so unfortunately we are at a bit of a crossroads. How many hours has it been since the last clip?
Too long.
So the rear bolts, they are simply not budging. We have tried torching them. We have tried liquid penetrant, breaker bars. The impact gun did nothing. It's crazy how the rears are completely not moving. So, what are you doing? So fast forwarding a few days, my friends at STR were able to hook it up and squeeze in the Lexus so we could get this done. It sucks not being able to finish it on my own, but huge thank you to these guys for being able to squeeze it in. So they'll get it up on the lift and basically get everything removed and swapped over, and then we'll meet you guys back at the house and we'll get the air tank and the compressor out. So they got all the suspension out now. You can see the 2 airbags and the struts, and then of course all the stock stuff sitting over there. We'll just replace it. But it was definitely a super tight uninstall, I guess we'll call it. But we got all the bolts off, the lower control arm bolt, the lower shock bolt, the sway bar, and then it just took a lot of manpower to wiggle the lower subframe basically even. They had to loosen that a little bit and they got everything out. But yeah, it was kind of a pain in the butt, so not really doable on the jack stands. So they finished up with the rear, putting it back to stock. It was definitely quite a lot of work. I really could not have done it on jack stands. They literally needed 2 people's leverage to get these springs back in. So I guess it worked out that we couldn't do anything on the rear. But alignment time, and then we'll meet you guys back at the house and get the air tank and the compressor back out of the car. I did not expect that to be that violent.
Now that the hard part's done, it's my turn to undo some screws.
That works. I was recording. It's recording.
Oh God.
All right, now we're gonna take the tank off. Do you want to disconnect this air hose?
Pull on it.
There we go. And then it looks like we just have a few 10mm bolts. There we go. Oh, I think grabbing, you moved it. All right, and there is an air tank out of the Lexus. All right, so that is effectively out. Now, real quick, before we wrap up the video, I just want to show you what the rear bags looked like since I couldn't really show them. So we had the actual airbag itself, and then there's a metal collar on the top and on the bottom. Those were really, really tricky to get to. They literally needed to drop the subframe in the rear to get to these bolts up top here. So this was pretty challenging. Would not have been fun doing it all on jack stands. Definitely took some work. There's also these collars that were way upside in the airbag, along with another set of bolts like this. So the airbags took a little bit getting out. It worked out well that we had the shop do it, but that is effectively removing the air ride suspension from the Lexus. Definitely quite a lot of work for the person who buys this kit. Maybe you can even use this video to help you install it, and then for anyone looking to install one of these air ride suspensions, hopefully this video could kind of help you. We kind of did it in reverse order. But overall thoughts, 2 years riding air ride suspension. What's your thoughts?
That's cool.
It's cool.
Definitely get it. If you get the opportunity, get it.
So you want to do this for a long time, so you kind of check that off the bucket list, I guess.
Yep.
So,
now it's time for something more performance wise.
Right. So she's got more performance oriented cars in the works, which I already know exactly what she's looking for. But in the next year or so, we'll have some videos of her next car, which will be cool. The Lexus will kind of just be a little daily for a little bit until it's about time. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you, Lauren, for your help. I think you did a great job. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you are interested in this air ride suspension, it's in really good shape. It's like a, what, $3,500 kit?
Yes.
And you have everything with it.
Yep.
And it fits the IS. I think most generations, at least the newer ones, RCs and GS is what I noticed online. Double check that. I'm not an expert on this car. But anyways, I think that's about it.
Yep.
So if you guys enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in the next video.